So maybe you're really thinking about getting started in homeschooling. Or, you've made that decision. You're like, yes, next school year, I want to be homeschooling. But now you're like wondering, how do I get started? All of a sudden, there's more questions, aren't there? I get that. I like to question things. And when something comes up, I always want to make sure that I'm doing it the right way and that I'm doing all the right things. And, to me, that's just very important. And I think it's important as well, that we set ourselves up for success if we are choosing to enter this beautiful, beautiful world of homeschooling. I love homeschooling, and I am here to champion it because I have found it to be so great for my family, and I see how wonderful it is for so many other families. So let me help you today to set you up for success with some 5 steps to get started in homeschooling. Hi, and welcome to Learning Life. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, if you're new, it is great to be here with you today. Thank you for checking out this video. And to everybody else who has been watching, I thank you so much. You really do make this Learning Life just a wonderful thing, because this is my heart, to get out there, to bring these videos, to just really help people. Especially, as I've been learning on this journey, I want to be able to share it with others so that we can all feel successful, because that truly is a wonderful thing. This is not about bringing anybody down. This is about let's build each other up. So you want to get started in homeschooling and you're not really sure where to start. To me, these are some 5 steps. And, I wanted to say simple steps, maybe they don't really sound so simple, but I will explain them as I go through. But 5, good steps, key things that are really going to help you when it comes to homeschooling. So let's look at them. Work out your whys. I think it's very important to know your whys. Why are you doing this? You know what? Write it down. It could be something as simple of, I just need my child to have more time outside of school hours. It can be, as complex and as complicated as you like. All of us have different reasons for it. I jokingly say I'm up to about 7,000 different reasons, but I have my key ones, and they're ones that I come back to, especially on the days when my daughters are just pressing all the buttons and I think, I'm just going to put you into school. I can come back to my whys and be like, oh yes, this is why we chose as a family to be homeschooling. These are very, very key things. Write them down somewhere, come back to them, change them, add to them, take away from them. They are your whys. Nobody can tell you that your whys are wrong. Know your state's requirements. Or your country's requirements, really. Here in the US, 50 different states, 50 different lots of requirements. And then, you look internationally, there's even other requirements. So this is where it is important to really do your research and find out, whether or not you can actually homeschool, because some places don't allow it. Now, I'm going to talk just here about the states and to show you that requirements can vary greatly. A great website is hsdla.org. I'll put the link below. They are super helpful, all 50 states and all of their requirements. And I might have spent just a little bit too long going through every state's requirements. I was curious. I'm like, oh, what do they have? Oh, and here, that stuff actually fascinates me. But I want to look at 3 different state requirements to show you how they can be vastly different. So in Georgia, which is where I live, I need to submit a letter of intent. We need to have 180 days of instruction. The parent or the guardian must have a high school diploma or a GED or equivalent. You need to cover reading, language arts, math, social studies, and science. And you need to have standardized tests every 3 years from the end of 3rd grade. And you should also write a progress report at the end of the year and hold on to those for 3 years. That's Georgia. Well, let's move to Pennsylvania. This one, I was like, oh, okay. Well, there's actually 4 options to homeschool in Pennsylvania, but I'm going to look at the first one, parent teaching at home. So the parent or the guardian must have a high school diploma or equivalent. You need to file a notarized affidavit complete with an immunization record. You need to have 180 days of instruction that equals 900 hours of instruction in elementary and 990 hours in secondary level. You need to have an extensive list of required subjects. Like, I just was not going to list them all. There's so many. Maintain a portfolio that has samples of work, tests, the standardized tests, and your child needs to be evaluated every year, and your portfolio must be submitted for an annual written evaluation by approved people. Okay? It's really intense. I looked at it, I'm like, oh, okay. And then we have Texas. I didn't know that in Texas, homeschooling is considered a private school. And the required subjects are math, reading, spelling, and grammar, and a course in good citizenship. Don't actually have to do science and history. They are not state required, but you know what? Many colleges actually do require them. But you also must use a written or online curriculum. That's it. 3 different states, 3 very different sets of requirements. Okay, so this is why it is important to know your state or your country's requirements when it comes to homeschooling so that you can make sure that you are doing the right thing. Know how your child learns best. I do think that this is a great step for helping you set up for success in homeschooling. So how your child learns, do they learn by seeing, by hearing, by doing? Okay, are they going to be more engaged like in reading something, more engaged in hearing something, by doing, or even just moving? Like, I know for one of my daughters, she focuses best in math when she's like tap dancing gymnastics or roller skating yoga while doing math. But, if I try to get her to sit there and do it, it takes her forever. But let her move, let her sort of almost dance out the numbers, and she's there. So our children are all going to be very different. No 2 children in the family are the same. I have twins. They are very, very different. But knowing how they learn best helps me in meeting them where they're at and providing experiences and, the materials that they need that are really going to help them to be learning. Because I don't want my children to just be going through school because they've done school as a big check off. I want them to love to learn. I want them to research things and be fascinated by something and go down rabbit trails, finding the good information. So knowing how your child learns best is really going to help you in that. I do have some videos. I'll link them below on homeschooling, like your visual, your auditory, and your kinesthetic learners. And I do have some other videos on the learning styles as well. So know how your child learns best. Decide what method you want to use. Maybe thinking, method? Is there a method? How do you want to teach? You know what? We don't have to teach the way that we were taught. Okay, there are some wonderful sort of different educational methods or strategies or philosophies that we can be using. Things like the classical, Charlotte Mason, Montessori, Waldorf, unschooling, school at home, unit studies, eclectic. And you might be thinking, ooh, what are all of those? I do have some videos on the classical Charlotte Mason, Montessori, and Waldorf. I will also link those below. Unschooling. This is what I have been doing, and I'm moving more into eclectic education where we pick and choose little bits of curriculum here and there. Maybe it is you just do want to do school at home. We follow a curriculum within set times, and this is how we do it. It is not in a classroom. It is in our room, at home. Any of these that work for you is great. And so decide what it is that you want to do. Do you want to follow more of a Charlotte Mason philosophy? Do you want to do just more unit studies? Knowing that helps you as you set up, as you establish, and as you step into it. Now, of course, along the way, you can decide to change. None of this really, in our methods and all of that is going to be set in stone. You get to change. You get to adapt according to things that you've been learning, or, you've tried something and none of you are happy. Change it up. You can do it. But it's really helpful to have an idea of really, this is how I want to come into it, knowing that I can always adapt and change. Research curriculum and decide what you're going to use. So actually next week, little teaser, I'm going to give you some steps on how to choose the right curriculum for you, because there are so many. There are so many. But when you know your child's learning style, that's going to help you with this curriculum. And I know that for many people, they want something that's good and foundational. It meets all these requirements. Yes, absolutely 100%. So you're going to have to spend some time with that. And it will take some time. Don't just sort of pick the first thing that you see and go, yeah, that'll be good. It might not be. Okay. And just because your friend likes something, it doesn't mean that it's going to work for your family. So, decide what you want to use. Check out next week's video as I will help you see some of these steps to really just pick something that is going to work for you. So these are 5 steps. Know your whys, your requirements, child's learning style, your method, and curriculum. Okay. We can do it. And you're going to have a great start. And maybe, you've already decided it's going to be in the next school year. Well, this will give you some time to be able to do that research and find out what it is that you need so that you can really feel like you can kickstart a successful next school year. Or maybe you've just decided, I'm done now and I want to start now. Take this time, though, to do these things because that really is going to help you to set up for success with homeschooling. And I think that's what we all want. We want to have good experiences. We want it to be great for our children. We also want it to be good for us. Well, if you have any questions about it, you know what? Yes, always ask your homeschooling friends, that. But I'm also here as well. Feel free to ask me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching today. And thank you for being part of this learning life. Now, if you would like to help to get these videos out there, because it does take some time, effort, and work, you can do that by becoming a champion, and you can do that through patreon.com or through my website, LearningThis.Life.